Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be finishing off the sound deadening in the cab. Now the last video on sound deadening I did was the right hand door card, which we showed you how to strip it down, put the sound deadening on. So if you haven't checked that video out, it'll be linked in the description down below, so go and check that one out. But in this one, basically what we're going to do is strip the whole cab down and sound deaden the whole floor of the cab. Now, we didn't do that when I did the conversion originally. The whole back end of the van was done, but didn't do the cab, and I don't understand why I didn't do it at the time. But anyway, it's been on the to-do list for quite a while now, so we're going to get cracking today and do that. So the other thing I've done is I took basically a sound meter test before I did any of the sound deadening on the front. So that was basically just through my phone, kind of did a few miles up the road, came back, and then took an average of what the decibel reading was. And then the plan is I'm going to do that again after it's all finished, so we can see if it's made a big difference or not. So that is the plan for today, so we'll get cracking now. We're going to do the passenger side door first. So that's basically going to be the door card off like we did in the previous video, and then take the panel off behind the door card and then get as much sound deadening as we can into there. I'm just going to stick a time lapse on of us doing that, like I say, because there is a whole other video on doing the door card itself. So now obviously this van has a double seat in the front, which I've got the swivel fitted to it, which is fairly straightforward to get out. It's just bolted in realistically. So we'll get cracking. I need to get all the rubbish emptied out from under the seat, and then we'll get cracking with that and get the seats out and then go from there. Right, so to unbolt this dual seat from the swivel base, there's basically 8 of these nuts. So we'll whip them out now. It's 4 there and then 4 there. We'll whip them out. So that's the seat off the base plate. Now there is the same again. There's 8 of these nuts here. So they are, you've got to kind of move the base around a bit to get them all, but that's basically, see there's another one in there. So whip them out and then that base plate comes off. Right, so that is the passenger seat out, which is fairly straightforward. So next up, we need to get the handbrake off, because that bolts, I believe it bolts to the side of the seat base. You get the covers off there, unbolt that, and then I need to have a look. I don't know if I can get the seat and the seat base out together, or whether it is a case of taking the seat off the seat base, because I know I've done that before, or whether the whole lot can come out together. But we'll get a look at that now. Right, so basically managed to get the driver's side seat out without too much hassle. There's only 4 bolts holding it in, so disconnected the wire under the seat, took the handbrake off, took the 4, so 1, 2, 3, and there's a 1 just behind the heater there. Just took the 4 nuts off there and then lifted the obviously pipework off the diesel heater, and then just lifted the whole thing out. So now that's the seat out, we need to get the floor mat out. Now I think basically you're going to have to start down here and take some of the trim out, and then obviously once that's out we'll move around and see what else needs to come off to get the cab floor mat out. Now basically you just obviously take off the minimum amount of things you can to get the floor mat out is the plan. Right, well that is this panel off here, the step out, and I've took the little panel off just in the corner, just popped this out but just not took it fully off. Pulled the door trim back a little bit, so that is, we're kind of all free up to there, and I'll show you underneath here. So that side's okay, there is okay, that's going to come out, but then we get to the center piece here. Now all that lower center piece I think is going to have to come out. So there's a couple of screws I've spotted already, so hopefully that's not going to be too bad to get out. But like I say, we're just working our way around so we can get the floor mat out. Right, well that is the centre bit out. There was a few little fiddly screws to get that out. I don't know, looking at it, you maybe could have wangled it without taking that off, but it's one of them, it's going to make life a bit easier with it being out of the way. Managed to leave this panel in and just drop down at this side to get the two screws out, so didn't need to take that bit fully out. So we've got a few more bits under there now that we need to look at to get out, and then we are certainly making progress anyway. We haven't got far to go, and that will be it fully released. Right, well I've managed to get the cover off for the basically it's the bottom end of this Deadening column where that passes through the bottom of the van. Got the cover off for there, and we can see all the edges of the mat. The bonnet pull is got a cut out above it, so that should slide underneath it. I've not had to fully take this step out because the mat manages to slip out from underneath it, and obviously this panel at this side, it's not as tight to the mat as what the passenger side is. So I just thought I'll give it a bit of a pull and see if it pops out. And as you can see, it has done there. So the plan is to pull it over the top of the heater here and then slide it out from that corner because it needs to slide down to pass the bonnet release handle there. So that's what we're going to do now. So one thing I've just noticed that I've missed, the handbrake cable goes through a hole in the mat. So we're going to have to unbolt the cable at this end. Obviously the van's in gear, the handbrake's off anyway. We're fairly flat on the drive, but it's in gear to stop it moving. But as you can see, I think I've already done this, so 10, 11 threads. So I've obviously counted the threads down to the nut so I can get it back in the same place the last time I've had it off. So I'll just double check that count and then we'll whip the cable off and get the handbrake completely out of the way. Well, that is the whole floor mat out. So what we're gonna do first is give it a good clean, I think, especially in the footwells. Actually, I might take that, just whip that other side step out, just so I can clean underneath it. But I cannot. If I do that, I'm gonna probably need to take that lower panel off like I did on the passenger side. So I might just do that, and then I can give it a good clean out underneath. Because I think I definitely want to get some sound deadening under the footwell, because actually, which this might have been the reason why I didn't. I mean, if you look how kind of thick the floor mat is, it's got obviously this cushiony stuff underneath, which that probably is acting like a fairly good sound deadening. But anyhow, the plan is we'll just crack on. You can see I get cleaned up and then start getting some sound deadening down. Right, I've given the first side a bit of clean up there, so I'm just going to start whapping some of the sound deadening on. Obviously, there was a couple of little bits like this bit here already there. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to go over the top of that yet. I'll see how much I've got. If I've got enough, I will stick a couple of bits over the top. And in here as well, I think I'm just going to put a little bit on here and on there. Because I mean, obviously put this bit, looking at there's a drain hole there. And I think these holes as well go straight out the bottom. So I've got to put a little bit along here, but not on there, just because I don't want it kind of holding any water that gets into there. You just want obviously to drain out, but we'll do a little. Somebody actually in the last video about the door said, oh, I should have done the knock test beforehand, which is do that, and then we'll come back and dad it once that's on and see what it sounds like. Right, I'm finished putting the sound deadening on the floor. Now, I had 20 sheets of the dodo mat. Now, I probably should have had a little bit more. I did have 3 sheets left over from another job, but it's getting a covering, but I haven't really been able to go over the top of the manufacturer's stuff. So I'll show you how much I've done, but if you're planning on doing this, 20 sheets is probably not enough for both front doors and the cab floor. But I'll spin you around now and let you have a look. I'm also just trying to dodge the rain here because it started raining. Why do I start these things on a Sunday? But yeah, so this is kind of where we've got to. So I've just done around the original manufacturer's stuff. I would have liked to have gone over the top of it, but I haven't got enough. But I've done a little bit up the sides, both sides, and I'll just quickly show you what I've done in the footwell. So that is the same on the driver's side as well. So like I say, that's as much as I can do. Ideally I would have liked a little bit more, but hey, I've done that much, and I need to put the van back together now. So I suppose the only thing for it is to crack on with putting everything back together. Well, you've just watched me putting the whole front end of the van back together in the rain outside of the garage. Now, we are actually 1 week later from when that happened, because I basically got the van put back together. It was Sunday night by the time I got it put back together. It was pouring down with rain, and I thought, I've had enough. I'm going to go in the house and get a cup of tea. So we are a weekend down the line. I've been out and done the audio testing, which I'll put a little clip on the screen now of what that looked like. So basically what I did, I had a sound meter, decibel meter on my phone, and I recorded the footage with another camera, and basically drove a mile or two up the road to a certain point, turned around, came back. So I did that test before I did any sound deadening on the front cab area and doors, and then I've repeated that same test today, now that all the cab area has been sound deadened. Now, when I first drove the van up the road, I thought, maybe it does sound like it is a little bit better. But the proof is in the decibel reading. Now, the average decibel reading before the sound deadening was 70 decibels. Now, comment down below if you've got any guesses, if you think it's better or not. And I can reveal now that the decibel reading afterwards was actually 65 decibels. So it has made a decent bit of difference from that test. How accurate that test was might not be 100% perfect, but anyway, it does show that it is better. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. If you're interested in transporters specifically, I've got more transporter videos on the channel, so go and check them out. They will be linked on screen now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.